I still remember her exact words, "You ain't my type." I just froze. The words hung in the air like this cold, heavy weight. We were in a restaurant, and all around us, people were chatting. You could hear silverware clinking, just the normal buzz of a busy place, but none of it mattered. Those words cut deeper than I ever expected. Her name was Tiffany. We'd been together for 5 years, married for 3. On the outside, we looked like the perfect couple. Friends always said how happy we seemed, our neighbors admired our home. But behind closed doors, the cracks had started showing. It started small, easy to ignore. A sarcastic comment here, a secretive text there, nights she said she was working late without any real explanation. I had suspected she wasn't interested anymore long before that night. But nothing could have prepared me for how blunt she was. We were out for what I thought was our anniversary dinner. I had planned everything weeks in advance, picked the restaurant myself, even wore my best suit. I wanted it to be perfect. Clearly, she didn't care. "You ain't my type," she repeated, and she even smirked a little, like she was trying to get a reaction out of me. She just leaned back, sipped her wine, and seemed to enjoy the shock on my face. I just stared at her, letting it all sink in. I think she expected me to argue, to beg, maybe even to yell, but I didn't. Instead, I did something she never saw coming. I reached for the check. I paid the bill, quietly, without saying a word. I didn't raise my voice, didn't make a scene. I just stood up, grabbed my coat, and walked out. She called after me, her voice rising with disbelief. "Wait, what are you doing?" I didn't turn around. I didn't look back. For the first time in years, I felt like I was in control of my own life. I had spent so long trying to save a marriage that was already falling apart, trying to convince someone to value me, to respect me. Her words finally confirmed what I already knew deep down. She didn't care. I drove around for a few hours that night, just letting the cool air and the empty streets calm me down. I thought about all the red flags I'd ignored, all the compromises I'd made. All the sleepless nights I'd spent worrying if our love was even real. It wasn't. By the next morning, I had made my decision. I wasn't going back. Not to her, not to our house that didn't feel like a home anymore, and not to a life built on illusions. I moved my things out slowly but deliberately. Tiffany tried to contact me, sending texts filled with anger, shock, and even fake concern. I ignored every single one. I didn't owe her an explanation. She made her choice when she told me I wasn't her type. In the weeks that followed, I started to rebuild. I reconnected with friends I'd lost touch with, spent more time with my family, and slowly started to regain the confidence that had been chipped away over the years. I realized her betrayal wasn't just about cheating, it was about control. She wanted to make me feel small and unworthy. Walking out that night was me taking back my control, my dignity. I learned a huge lesson about boundaries and self-respect. There's a point where ignoring red flags becomes self-destructive. For me, that moment came at a restaurant table when she smiled and said those words. It was my breaking point, but it was also my liberation. Months later, Tiffany reached out again. This time her messages were different, less angry, more desperate. She tried to negotiate, to manipulate me, but I didn't respond. I had moved on. Sometimes the only way to find peace is to walk away with grace. Looking back, that night was the turning point. Not because of what she said, but because of how I responded. I didn't let anger drive me. I didn't beg for her to love me. I acted calmly and with dignity. Walking out wasn't about punishing her. It was about reclaiming my life. In the years since, I've built a life that's real, fulfilling, and free from manipulation. I've met people who actually value and respect me for who I am, and every time I remember Tiffany's smirk, I smile. Not with anger, but with a quiet sense of triumph. Because in that moment, I learned that rejection can either destroy you or set you free. I chose freedom. One chose myself. I chose peace. Thanks for listening to my story. If you've been through something similar, remember your worth. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. See you next time.